morning and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. They're usually acknowledged for their roles in shaping future technocrats, bureaucrats and leaders in various sectors from the cradle, even though their importance can sometimes go unnoticed. That the teachers, and for many observers, the celebration of this class of persons should not only be an annual ritual, just as correspondent Edidion Iba explains in this report.
Whether the thing is an action, the name of that action is a noun.
Every day you meet them like these, creating engaging lesson plans, nurturing the children's interest in education, and impacting even generations unborn. These and many other impactful roles may just be the reason why every October 5, the world pauses to celebrate these people whose commitment and dedication to the future is unequaled. The day recognizes the role that teachers play in transforming lives of the society and the need to support them in achieving this passionate role. According to the report, there is a global shortage of teachers resulting from declining work conditions and status. Hence, the theme for this year, which is the teachers we need for the education we want, the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage.
This appreciation could come in form of acknowledgement, and there's also the financial part of it, which is very, very important.
It is the duty of government to see how they can empower the teachers in terms of special incentives.
We need appreciation from the parents, the school management and the board, at least to step up our stipends.
Education administrators say there is hope for the teaching profession, encouraging teachers to continue in well-doing.
The teachers that have the professional requirement to be teachers, a passion, and then teachers who will be willing to take the children who are placed in their hands by parents as their own.
Adopt appropriate developmental practices in teaching the children based on their ages.
So if you understand anything I have said so far, then you may be owing a teacher a debt of gratitude. NTA News.
Now to security matters, Senate has resolved to interact with heads of all security-related agencies as it seeks an end to challenges of insecurity across Nigeria. The lawmakers also asked security operatives to conduct a joint operation to dislodge the various criminal elements from their hideouts. It is in response to a motion from Senator Abdulaziz Ya'adua, which seeks the rescue of 5 female students of the Federal University Dutsima, Katsina State, kidnapped in their hostel on Wednesday, 4th of October 2023, and all other abductees.
It's a fact that, yes, indeed, the current administration is also doing a lot to address the situation. And I don't want to preempt what the security chiefs will brief you. But when they come before you, you hear some of the things that the current administration is doing, of course, to have succeeded in reducing very drastically the incidences of insurgencies, banditry, and even the kidnapping we are talking about.
Collaborative efforts of all Nigerians, they say, are needed at this time. Now, artificial intelligence and robotics training have commenced for pupils at the UBEC Model Smart School in Kwara State. Raliat Ibrahim reports on this and the commencement of free distribution of instructional materials and sports kits to public primary and junior secondary schools in Kwara State.
Like Model Smart School at Data, we started academic activities earlier this year, and the second in Nigeria after the one in Kano State is pioneering robotic training in public schools in the state. Even though smart schools are built to incorporate technology and innovation in its teaching and learning processes, training pupils in robotic technology is no mean feat, as it has the potential to build a better generation. The eager pupils using their UKit Edu have started making robotic models such as robot arm, smart bin, street sweeper and tractor, among others.
This is where engineering starts. We want to start education through the hands. We want our children to start to see things and by doing.
I know how to build robots with robotic instruments, and I know how to code after building robotic instruments.
I don't know how to be skillful.
It will help you in critical thinking.
Meanwhile, the Kwara State government has commenced the distribution of instructional materials and sports kits to primary and junior secondary schools in the 16 local government areas of the state.
This speech cannot be completed without our gratitude to our commission for their support and regular provision of instructional materials for our state and manpower to complement the state government effort at improving basic education in our dear state.
Raliat Ibrahim, NTA News.
Now, proper funding, adequate security of schools and placement of reading as core subject in national basic education curriculum are among recommendations at the end of a 4-day basic education boot camp held in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Kevin Samuel has details.
Used in 1999 by the federal government as a reform program aimed at providing better access to quality education, the universal basic education, despite its importance, has suffered a number of setbacks over the years. This 4-day boot camp, which brought together critical players in the education sector from across the country, has come up with ways seeking to reposition basic education in Nigeria.
Everybody go back home, come up with effective strategies for us to reduce the embarrassing number of out-of-school children in the country.
Basic education should be compulsory, it should be free and inclusive, leaving no child behind, irrespective of their gender, of their circumstance, or the financial situation of their parents.
Wherever you are in the world, you're facing those issues, and I think if we can work together and find solutions for each of our countries, those solutions will be slightly different.
Come forward with new ideas and see how we can join hands together to collaborate and make our education better.
The event featured visit to some schools, including Federal Science and Technical College, Uyo, and presentation of a communique highlighting some of the critical issues affecting basic education in the country and the possible solutions. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
And every 5th of October is marked as World Teachers' Day, where members of the noble profession are celebrated for the great work they are doing in shaping the destinies of our children towards the betterment of the larger society. Nigeria also joined in the celebration of teachers who have dedicated their lives to their special task, sometimes with poor remunerations, with special parades. The theme for this year celebration is the teachers we need for the education we want, the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage. And now joining me in the studio is Yusuf Ibn Tom, National Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, who will be speaking more on this year's theme. Mr. Yusuf, thank you so much for joining us on Nationwide.
Thank you very much.
Now let's speak to the theme of this year's celebration. Could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, actually, just like what you saw on the caption that talk about the theme, we are lacking more quality and qualified teachers to man our schools. So the union is agitating for more qualified and qualified teachers that will man our basic secondary school, because that is the background of every child. By the time you have it at the root, I believe in the near future we are going to do the best of things. So this is one of those things that globally today you can see a lot of people are not willing to join the teaching profession as a result of the way and manner teachers are being mishandled or teachers are being taken care of. In those days, all of us knew it very well according to history. Teachers are well taken care of, but this day is not as usual. So the union is agitating and other stakeholders are agitating for teachers to have more priority in this global world.
Okay. Now, you know, oftentimes we talk about the role of teachers, what they do. They nurture the children. Most of their lives, they are with their teachers. Now, let's talk about dedication and patriotism to this profession, sometimes in the face of personal and organizational challenges. How do we surmount these challenges?
Yeah, today if you look at the take-home pay of most teachers is highly disheartening and is highly disdained for the fact that How much do you even earn for you to even go and further your education? So these are some of the challenges teachers are facing in the system. Lack of capacity, lack of attention, lack of proper welfare to cater for teachers to be highly committed to their work today. So these are some of the things that the union are also agitating for. If you remember, around 2020, the previous government agitated has put in place measures to curtail some of the menace that teachers are undergoing. That is by providing teacher salary structure specifically, and so also to give every person that is going for education, to go and read education, either in college education or university, there's going to be a bursary for them. So also, teachers in the basic schools will also be catered for. A provision of housing will be given to them, but up to this very moment, nothing like this is forthcoming. For that, these are some of the things that is making teachers fold their arms. They are not all committed to the teaching profession.
Okay. Those are your demands, your requests from the government, and we hope the present administration will look into them. Now, let me take you on again on the issue of shortage of teachers. Every year we have teachers being churned out from the colleges of education, some read education in universities. Now, what exactly is the problem? Why do we have the shortage? Could they be linked to all these problems you have highlighted, or they're not just interested in going to the classrooms?
To be sincere, much graduates of most of the colleges of education and universities are not all that serious about on becoming teachers.
Okay.
Why do I say that? It is because the way and manner they are treating most of the teachers are on the job that most people do. See, if you even go around most of the profession today, you will see a graduate of education is partaking in it. You will see somebody who writes education, you end up seeing him in a bank or seeing in one of the ministries. You will say, wow, if you go to teaching profession, you hardly even meet your 3 square mile. So these are some of the things that made some of these graduates of college of education and universities not to go into the proper teaching profession.
That's quite interesting. But what advice, as we celebrate our teachers this year, what advice do you have for other teachers like you, talking about dedication to the profession?
Actually, for me, I am appealing to my co-teachers and others that are willing to become teachers to be highly committed. Because just like the global team, we are lacking teachers, that is, shortage of teachers globally. So if we did not put effort in trying to groom more teachers, hardly for us in the next generation to have better education, better education system. It's going to be a really strong block for us in our near future. So I want to use this medium once again to appeal to people or students alike that are willing to be part of the teaching profession to take it highly serious, because that is what we call this issue of succession plan. If you don't have better hands on ground, hardly for us to have better future in the near future. So it's a very good decision. We need to at least put it upon ourselves. So also to call all stakeholders to continue to encourage people to go into the teaching profession. Once again, I want to also appeal to the government of the day and other stakeholders to see how best they will continue to motivate people to be part of the teaching profession.
To be part of the teaching profession. Yusuf Ibn Tom, I want to appreciate you and celebrate you as well as we celebrate other teachers out there. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.
I also want to use this medium to celebrate each and every one of you, because I know all of you here are product of teachers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, moving on now, a concerned APC group under the aegis of Progressive League of Youth strongly appeals to Abia State Governor Alex Oti to desist from an alleged plot to destabilize the peaceful atmosphere enjoyed in Imo State ahead of November 11 governorship election. The group says recent alleged remarks and utterances by Governor Oti constitute a threat to democracy that may further undermine fragile security in the southeast region if not checked by authorities concerned.
We are citizens of Nigeria, first before becoming members of political parties. As members of formidable support groups, Governor Hope Ozidimma will only hand over to himself and not any other political parties in Nigeria, because he's doing a great job in Imo State.
The group advises the Labour Party to emulate infrastructure feats achieved by Governor Hope Uzodinma. Now, to another matter of concern, substance abuse is worrisome, especially among young people who are devising new ways of indulging, deterrent to their mental health. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is also adopting new approaches to counter the challenges of drug trafficking and abuse. What more can be done to curb this ugly trend? Ijoma Ugoke in this report seeks to find answers.
The fight against drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking has over time been on the front burner of government policies and programs. Some of these drugs that are psychotropic substances and controlled drugs find their ways into the market despite measures put in place to control the circulation of unauthorized drugs, thereby endangering the lives of many, especially young people.
It's a fight that we must fight together to win. It is a state of emergency in the country, and we must make sure that we win it.
I've seen young girls, young boys whose before drug and after drug has been really devastating.
As the fight against drugs intensifies, stakeholders are of the view that efforts should be tilted towards rehabilitation of drug addicts and periodic check on unauthorized dealers of these illicit drugs to reduce the circulation in the society. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Now let's head to Port Harcourt with Kingsley Amajiri standing by to tell us more on the fight against drug abuse in the state. Kingsley, thank you for joining us on Nationwide.
Thank you very much.
All right, tell us, what exactly?
Well, you know, the issue of drug abuse has been a menace in this part of the country. Let's take, for instance, when you go along the streets of Port Harcourt, you see the consequential impact of drug abuse on the society, especially the young people. We have cases that you, on a daily basis, you see young people who indulge in this illicit drug abuse, and it has its own negative consequences. What are the preempting factors? Part of these issues that give rise to this is peer group influence and economic factors. And these days, the concerns are that youth within this part of the country are becoming more daring. You see within the coastal communities, and you see the fight against illegal oil bunkering. Many of those who go into this act, they take drug in order to be emboldened to do their nefarious activities. Only recently, we had an issue that happened at Eba, which is very, very disheartening. And of course, the young people, many young people are being lost to this issue of drug abuse. Many of them are finding it difficult to reconcile their lives, especially psychiatric cases are also becoming an increasing factor within our society. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, of course, is not also relenting on its oars in the fight against this illicit act here in River State. And there have been so many arrests that have been made, convictions. I have with me here the Deputy Director in charge of media, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in the state. Sir, we would like to find out from you, what is your agency doing in order to curb this action of activities of illegal drug abuse within this part of the country?
Well, the NDLEA, as you well know, fight the drug scourge from two cardinal areas: drug supply control measures and drug demand reduction. Now, under supply control measures, the NDLEA go all out for these people to seize all available drug in circulation in the state. We also arrest offenders. We prosecute them. We make sure they are in prison so as to reduce the number of people who are involved in this nefarious activity. On the other hand, under drug demand reduction, we go all out to educate the public. We call it drug abuse preventive education. We go to schools, secondary schools, even primary schools, tertiary institutions, to educate them to stay away from drugs. We teach them coping skills, which includes Terms such as simply walk away or emphatic no. Emphatic no entails when a peer takes you to a drug joint or buys drugs for you to use, just tell the person, no, I will not touch it. Particularly those who have not experimented with drugs for the first time. Our major target is primary prevention.
Beyond what you are doing, are there also efforts to collaborate, especially with the churches, the family, and other critical stakeholders to address this rising case of drug abuse within this part of the country?
Drug abuse preventive education, we collaborate and we form synergy with security agencies, particularly in the area of enforcement duties, where we make arrests, seize drugs available in circulation. On the other hand, we collaborate with even churches, clergymen, the mosques. We educate them. We arm them with necessary information they need to also educate their congregants. We also liaise with NGOs, non-governmental organizations, and all and sundry. We go to motor parks, everywhere to educate people.
Beyond what you have been doing so far, we also understand that the abuse is still on the increase. What are the challenges, and what do you think is the possible way out?
Well, recently, if you were on the news, you will discover that the chairman, chief executive officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, advocated seriously on what we refer to as alternative development. The idea behind it is crop substitution, whereby those that plant drugs, that plant cannabis sativa, are advised or encouraged to plant economic crops that are not illegal. Economic crops that are legal, including cassava, yams, and the rest. Right. Let them stay away from, cannabis sativa.
All right, thank you. That is the much we could take from the Deputy Director Media for the NDLEA in Rivers State here. And of course, the fight against illegal drug, and abuse of substances in Rivers State, like this critical stakeholder have noted, needs critical collaboration to end this tide. It's back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Kingsley, and we do appreciate the contributions of Mr. Emmanuel Kenechukwu. Now, the Benue State government has confirmed the release of its Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Matthew Abo, from his captors. In a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Teso Kalu, the government said no ransom was paid for his release due to intense pressure on the kidnappers from security operatives. The released commissioner has since been reunited with his family, while Governor Hyacinth Alia has commended everyone involved in ensuring Matthew's release. The Niger Police Abia State Command has arrested and paraded 19 suspects for various criminal offences ranging from theft, kidnapping and impersonation, among others. The Commissioner of Police, Kenechukwu Onyumelie, stated this at the command's headquarters while briefing the press on their achievements in the past 3 months, Chika Okori reports.
Suspects were paraded alongside several exhibits, such as firearms of different specifications, life cartridges, a Sienna vehicle with the registration number Enugu JRV 857AA, illicit drugs, mattress, and motorcycle. The Commissioner of Police, represented by the command spokesperson Maureen Chinaka, noted that a dismissed police officer who was apprehended for vandalism of electricity transformer has been prosecuted and remanded in the correctional center.
During the period, several suspects were arrested and various exhibits were recovered. Also, some kidnapped victims and trafficked children were safely rescued. The cases have been duly presented before the courts. We remain committed to ensuring the safety and security of all law-abiding residents of the state.
Some of the suspects who were arrested at different locations and time confessed their involvement in the alleged criminal offenses.
I'm a mechanic, so this gun now, that long one, I buy it to me to use it and do hunter. So the short one is one for my grandfather.
I'm a courtist.
People that I was carried, I didn't know that I was a criminal before the police came attack. They leave me and ran away.
I bought the Sienna
for the hand of this man.
According to the command, whosoever that is found culpable will face the full weight of the law to serve as a deterrence to others. In Umuahia, Chika Okore, NTA.
In the Zamfara State, Governor Dauda Lawal inaugurates a steering committee for the establishment of security protection guards in the state. The 19-man committee, headed by the State Deputy Governor, Mani Mumuni, drew members from various stakeholders in security management. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
Zamfara State Executive Council recently approved the recruitment of 4,200 community protection guards with at least 300 personnel to be drawn from each of the 40 local government areas of the state. This is aimed at complementing the efforts of the conventional security operatives towards addressing the protracted security challenges bedeviling the state. This widely acclaimed initiative is not far from implementation, with the inauguration of a steering committee for the recruitment, training and mobilization of the proposed security guards by Governor Dauda Lawal. The governor reiterates that the decision is in furtherance of his administration's commitment to restore a lasting peace in all parts of Zamfara state, even as he charges members of the committee to work diligently with a view to justifying the confidence reposed in them.
This initiative is intended to support, partner and collaborate with security agencies in our collective effort to rid the state of persistent crimes and criminal elements. The Community Protection Guard is also to encourage community resilience against all forms of aggression from the bandits.
The 19-member steering committee, led by the State Deputy Governor Mani Mumuni, has members drawn from the State Executive Council, legislatures, security agencies, the State Council of Chiefs, and a pressure group, Zamfara Circle Initiative, while Director Security State Ministry for Internal Security and Home Affairs is to serve as Secretary of the committee.
I want to assure everyone that this committee is dedicated to ensuring the successful and immediate implementation of the guards' activities.
Terms of reference of the committee include proposing the structure, standard operating procedure, enabling law, and remunerations of the Community Protection Guard at the state, local government, and wards levels, among other things. The committee has 1 month within which to submit its report. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army Special Court Marshal has found the former Group Managing Director and Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Army Practice Limited, Major General Umar Muazu Mohammed, guilty of 14 out of 18 count charge, all contrary to service laws. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa covered the trial at the Nigerian Officers' Mess, Abuja.
Major General Umar Mohammed was tried for several counts, ranging from stealing, forgery, conspiracy, and unauthorized diversion of army property. The 8-man special court-martial, presided by Major General James Nyam, found the defendant guilty of collection of a sum of over $1 million paid by shipping companies for the use of Nigerian Army jetty located at number 6 Marina Victoria Island, Lagos. Major General Umar Mohammed was also found guilty of a theft of $430.8 being money paid into the Nigerian Army domiciliary account at the Unity Bank, Abuja, guilty of withdrawing and confiscating the sum of 74 million out of 75 million paid for a property belonging to the Nigerian Army at Ikoyi, Lagos.
The court finds as follows. The accused senior officer, Major General U.M. Mohammed, N/8656, is guilty as charged in count 2, is guilty as charged in count 3, is guilty as charged in count 4, is guilty as charged in count 5, and the accused senior officer, Major General U.M. Mohammed, N/8656, is guilty as charged in count 6.
Major General Umar Mohammed was not found guilty of 4 counts. Having found guilty of 14 counts charged, the Special Court Martial is expected to pronounce its sentence on the defendant on Tuesday, 10th October 2023. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, has sought for a robust synergy among the Nigerian Armed Forces for enhanced security operations in the sub-region. Vice Admiral Ogala stated this while addressing graduates of Naval Warfare Course 7 at the Eastern Naval Command Headquarters, Calabar. Udwak 18 reports that the graduates are expected to use the knowledge and skills acquired during the course to tackle the nation's security challenges.
Designed for naval and joint military training as well as maritime security studies, the Naval War College Nigeria, since its inception in 2017, has continued to prepare officers of the armed forces for effective security responsibilities. The achievement of the college was witnessed at the graduation ceremony of 22 participants of Naval Warfare Course 7, which had 17 naval officers of commander rank, 2 lieutenant colonels of the Nigerian Army, 2 wing commanders of the Nigerian Air Force, and 1 foreign officer from the Republic of Cameroon. The Chief of Naval Staff emphasized that security challenges threatening the existence of countries worldwide underscore the need for a robust strategic postures to effectively conduct regular and irregular operations to counter these threats.
We are trying to ensure that we improve on the training year after year in order to achieve the objective that the Nigerian Navy has established the college for.
Success being recorded by the college have been made possible through established strategic training partnerships with various institutions within and outside Nigeria.
The Cross River State government reiterates its commitment towards the fight against insecurity.
We're thankful for the services that they've rendered to Cross River State. Be rest assured that the Cross River State government is going to support them.
There was conferment of Fellow of Naval War College undergraduates and presentation of certificates and award to deserving participants, as well as distinguished and eminent fellowship awards. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. It's time to join Hingino in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Hingino.
Hello, Lizzie. The quality of teachers reflects on the society. That is why rolling out qualified teachers into various institutions of learning is important. Key players are using this year's World Teachers' Day to advocate transformation of the teaching profession into a more attractive one where teachers will be valued and adequately supported to meet the needs and yearnings of learners.
I love my teacher because she cares, and she also let us go as far as she can show examples of what she is teaching us.
They make me feel so happy. They teach me about what I've not learned.
Heart-melting words from these little ones to their teachers, an indication that they recognize their teachers' sacrifices.
Yes, Abigail.
Educators deserve such kind words and even more. That is why the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, dedicated 5th of October every year for them as they continue to play important roles in shaping the future of the nation, especially with technological advancement transforming the sector.
The AI technology came on board, okay? It's something that every school should embrace, all right? Aside embracing technology, also, morals should also be impacted upon the students.
This year's theme, the teachers we need for the education we want, the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage, is aimed at improving the quality of teachers, reflecting on the support they need to fully deploy their talents and vocation, as well as addressing shortage of facilitators.
What kind of education do we desire in terms of quality? And that will determine how to address the shortages of teachers in our schools in terms of quality and number to meet up with this education we want.
Making them to have confidence in themselves is what I love doing.
World Teachers' Day, celebrated for 29 years now, is aimed at commemorating the adoption of the 1996 ILO and UNESCO recommendation on the status of teachers, their rights and responsibilities, among others. The fight against crime in the country entails a multifaceted approach. This, the nation's security outfits have continued to engage in to combat crime rates. The Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base in Badagry, in this wise, has handed over narcotics worth millions of naira seized from suspected smugglers to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Lanre Bile, who witnessed the handing over, brings details.
The seizure of these bags of cannabis is as a result of a tip-off of suspected smuggling activities right at the area of operation of the Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base in Badagry. The Navy swung into action to halt the unlawful activity of the suspected narcotics smugglers, whom, on sighting the naval officers, fled the area, leaving their boats and the illegal and illicit substances behind. The Navy is now handing over the bags of cannabis to the nation's Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Badagry. This is as a result of the federal government's mandate to all security agencies to have a concerted effort in tackling criminality in all routes and in all forms.
So Nigeria's waters, Nigerian littorals are not for illegalities. That is the advice, that is the admonition, that is the way forward henceforth.
On receiving the narcotics worth 35 million naira, head of the NDLA unit in Badagry expressed satisfaction at the level of swift action the Navy took in deterring the smugglers. He stated their next line of action.
The next step is for investigation to commence. So we are going to take it up from here, and we will do all that we should do to ensure that the culprits are apprehended.
The tip-off also took the Navy to adjoining communities after the seizure, but no other products or suspects were found. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
That's it from here. Time now for some messages. The news will be back shortly in Kaduna.
On Nationwide, and thanks for staying tuned. Governor of Kaduna State, Upasani, has urged Kaduna elders to join hands in promoting peace and unity in the state. He made this plea during a meeting with senior citizens of the state at Government House, Kaduna. Muhammad Marajingi reports.
The senior citizens and elders in Kaduna State are here at the Government House to meet the Chief Security Officer of the state to discuss matters concerning the development of the state.
Our focus will be to revitalize the economies of the rural areas. If we don't construct roads, we cannot link our markets with our farmers, because when they go to the farms, they cannot transport their produce.
After listening to the governor on some of the strategies put in place to ensure peaceful coexistence among the diverse people in the state, the elders promised to engage the citizens in their respective communities to ensure the peace and stability are sustained.
How to free Kaduna State from the shackles of insecurity. If that is done, the rural areas and urban centers will be free so that the citizens can freely move about the pursuit of their happiness.
We have seen in him a person who transformed the rural areas. By doing that, people will be employed, peace will be maintained.
The governor also had a similar engagement with religious leaders in the state. A renowned Islamic scholar and the leader of Izalatul Bidya, Waigamatu Sunnah, also visited the governor.
We should rise up to pray to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to sustain peace and harmony in our country. And our leaders should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will ask them on the day of judgment.
In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umrajingi, NTA News.
Student Union in Jigawa have commended the state governor, Umar Namadi, for the payment of scholarship, improving school feeding program, and the recent payment of school fees for Jigawa students in various tertiary institutions within and outside the state. Muhammad Musa Askira reports that the students gave the commendation during a courtesy visit to the governor at Government House in Dutse.
The Students' Union's visit was to express their appreciation for the pro-students policy of Umar Namadi's government, which they describe as sensitive and responsive to their plight. Governor Umar Namadi's administration prioritized education as a critical and indispensable sector for human development. Hence, in response to the hike in tuition fees across Nigerian universities, the governor has approved the sum of more than 176 million naira to pay for those who could not afford to pay their school fees and were facing expulsion threats from the universities. The students who spoke through their leaders assured the governor of their continued support and praise for the success of his administration in the state. The governor, while appreciating the students' solidarity visit to the seats of power, rolls out more packages for students of Jigawa State across tertiary institutions in Nigeria.
We will continue to do our best to improve the education sector. Despite the scarcity of resources, we will never allow any student to lose his classes or to drop out from school because of school fees.
Umar Namadi appeals to the students to desist from social vices and be good and productive citizens of the country who will contribute positively to the developments of the states and the country at large. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And that concludes our package from Kaduna. More reports in our Abuja studio with Elizabeth. Good evening.
Thank you so much. The federal government says 150 billion naira sovereign Sukuk 6 issuances planned for 2023 is expected to further bolster economic growth and propel Nigeria's infrastructure development, in addition to fostering both domestic and international investor confidence. Director General, Debt Management Office, Patience Oniha, stated this during an investors meeting for the sovereign Sukuk issuance in Abuja. Narcotics reports.
The meeting drew a diverse group of investors, key stakeholders, and financial experts eager to be part of the investment opportunity. The aim was clear: to mobilize funds to address the pressing infrastructure deficits across various regions of the nation. Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Oniha, assured that funds raised from the Islamic bond will be dedicated to financing the construction, rehabilitation, and expansion of critical road networks across various regions of Nigeria.
From 2017 till this date, with 742 billion naira, we've been able to either construct or rehabilitate 4,000 kilometers of road, and I believe about 4 bridges, 3 to 4 bridges. You saw some of those pictures. So there's already evidence to show what Sukuk is doing. And for this current Sukuk, it is no different. It is going to impact on roads and on bridges as well. So it's all about infrastructural financing and infrastructural development.
With an offering size of 150 billion naira, the Sukuk 6 issuance open to both retail and institutional investors promises stability and profitability. In Abuja, Nekauko, NTA News.
And some Nigerians in Uyo have been giving President Bola Tinubu a pat on the back for the provision of compressed natural gas buses to ease the transportation needs of Nigerians, especially civil servants. Utibe Achibong in Uyo reports that for some, more should be done.
That's a very good idea for the president. I really thank the president for the idea.
From my point of view, yes, because it's not helping people from the rural area to enjoy the benefit of government.
Now, it's a good venture, especially for the civil servants.
Some Nigerians there with divergent views on President Tinubu's policy statement to provide additional 3,000 compressed natural gas buses, which according to him will address the transportation needs of civil servants across the country. In his live broadcast to Nigerians, while this to some people is a step in the right direction, others are of the opinion that only few might benefit from this policy statement of the federal government.
You give this money to the poorest of the poor, and then the poorest of the poor are now converted to the high class of the citizen.
It can only help in the sense that if you are working as a civil servant, then your distance is far. If they could go as far as that person's location to convert the civil servants to their place of work, I think that would be better.
In Uyo, Utube Achibong, NTA News.
And Nana in our Sokoto Network Center is standing by with some reports for us. Nana.
Elizabeth, good evening everyone and welcome to Sokoto. Sokoto State Government has inaugurated committees for distribution of grains under the state's palliative programs in 23 local government areas of the state. The palliatives are aimed at cushioning the effects of fuel subsidy removal. Alhatu Abdullahi reports.
It could be recalled that on the 10th of September, Vice President Kashim Shettima flagged off the distribution of palliatives in Sokoto State. The distribution of 100,000 bags of fertilizer free to farmers in the state was also flagged off by Senator Aliyu Magatakar Dawamako. The distribution committees were inaugurated following the governor's approval of their constitution, in which each of the 23 local government areas of the state has a leader and members. Governor Ahmed Aliyu also approved the appointment of some Islamic clerics to oversee the distribution exercise. Governor Aliyu stressed that the period of politics is over and he is now the leader of the people of the state. He therefore stressed that there will be no discrimination in the distribution on any basis. The governor added that, considering the economic realities occasioned by fuel subsidy removal, his administration came up with several measures to ameliorate people's sufferings and assured that he is ready to accommodate any constructive criticism. Governor Ahmed Aliyu called on all to cooperate with his administration to get people out of the situation, adding that more incentives will soon be introduced to assist the people.
Our story of our delivery of democratic dividends during our tenure.
In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association 8th Division Chapter Sokoto has renovated and remodeled its nursery school and laid foundation for the construction of a primary section. This is part of the association's efforts to ensure quality education right from the kindergarten. Zainab Said Abdul Nasir has more.
President, Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, Mrs. Maria Abiodun Lagbaja, was at the Gigenya Cantonment, Sokoto, to inaugurate an array of projects executed by NAOA 8th Division, Sokoto. A nursery school was renovated and remodeled, and 4 toilets were provided by NAOA 8th Division Chapter, Sokoto. The nursery school, upgraded and fully equipped to provide a conducive learning atmosphere for the children in the barracks and beyond, was inaugurated by the President NAOA, Mrs. Maria Abiodun Lagbaja. The special guest of honor also laid foundation for the construction of a primary school, computer and ICT center, as well as tree planting. She commended the 8th Division for the efforts towards uplifting education, stressing the need for others to emulate the work.
I place premium in standardization of all NAOA establishments and learning institutions, which is the product of my vision.
She expressed commitment to leave good legacies, which is the hallmark of NAOA. Chairperson NAOA 8th Division, Mrs. Florence Godwin Mutkut, said the projects are to ensure quality education in the barracks community and beyond.
The ICT Center will be beneficial to pupils of NAOA Nursery and Primary School and other barracks students, as it will enhance their learning capability in information technology.
Food items procured by NAOA 8th Division were presented to widows of the men and officers in the barracks, while staff of the nursery school in the barracks were also presented with food items and cash. In Sokoto, Zainab Said Abdul Nasir, NTA News.
Well, that's about the size of it for us here in Sokoto. Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja.
Nana. And next is Sports Update. In Sports Update with Bade ends nationwide today. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Good evening.